Bava Kamma continues working through our last mission, discussing the concept of rishus. If you entered someone else's rishus and brought things in there, objects or a shar, with permission or without permission, how does that affect your responsibility towards the property of the owner of the chatzar, and how does it affect his responsibility towards your things? So the Gemara begins with an incident that happened. The Gemara says there was a woman who had permission to go into someone else's rishus to use the oven to bake a dough that she brought with her, but a ram belonging to the owner of the chatzar ate the dough and he got sick and died. So the question is she responsible for his death or not? The question came before Rava, and Rava said she is responsible to pay for it. So when I said this seems to not fit with Rav, we said before, commenting on our Mishnah, you say that it's not her responsibility if the animal ate it, because the animal should not have eaten it. And therefore Rav would seem to say that she is pater here, while Rava says she's chayiv. So my answer is no. Rav would agree here that she's chayiv, and the reason is because since she came with rishus, she's mekabel to guard and to watch the property of anybody who is in here, and therefore she's chayiv for it. Rav was referring to a case where she came in shaloi b'rishus. There she didn't take responsibility, and therefore she is pater for it. So the Gemara asks, but this seems to contradict another brisa that we had. The Gemara quotes the brisa which says a woman came into someone's property with grain, to grunt with wheat, to grind at the mill. Now, the Brisa speaks about where she came shaloi b'rishus, and it says that if the animal, the owner of the yard, it came and ate her wheat, so obviously the owner of the yard is not responsible for the wheat because she didn't have permission to bring it there. If, however, the animal became sick because of the wheat that he ate, then she is chayiv for that. So the implication is it's only that she is chayiv because she came shaloi b'rishus. However, if she came b'rishus, she would be pater. The question is, why is that different than what we said before? We just told me that Rav would agree that if she came in to bake bread, she's chayiv because she accepted shmira on everything that's around. Here, though, she came b'rishus, she's pater on what happened. So what's the difference? So the Gemara explains the difference is that when she comes in to bake, she needs to knead the dough, and therefore she has to roll up her sleeves. Therefore, there's a sneeze problem. Since there's a sneeze problem, everyone else has to leave. She must be taking responsibility to keep an eye on things, and therefore she's responsible for what happens. However, grinding wheat doesn't include any sneeze issues, and everyone else can stay where they are, and therefore she doesn't accept responsibility to watch anybody's things. And if the animal comes and eats, it's not her problem, and she is pater. He should not have eaten. The Gemara now moves on and brings three halachas that Rava said that in case where someone brings a shar into someone else's chatzar without permission. So the first halacha is if he brought a shar in and the shar created holes in the ground. He created various types of holes. So the halacha is that the owner of the shar is responsible for the damage that he caused to the chatzar. He needs to pay the Baal chatzar for that. However, if the Baal chatzar doesn't fill the holes and he goes and he's mafka the property, now becomes a bar of Rishus Rabim, the owner of the chatzar is responsible for that. Even though we have a drush that says ki yichar ish bar v'lo shar bar, which says you're only responsible for a bar that you dig yourself as a person, you're not responsible for a bar which is created by an animal. That's only true in a situation where the animal creates the bar directly in Rishus Rabim. Here, he was mafkir the Rishus and he could have filled it first, and since he didn't fill it, it's as if he dug it himself and he's responsible for it. That's the first halacha. Second halacha is, again, he brought a shar in someone else's chatzar without permission, and he caused damage to the Baal Bayis, that is, the shar hurt the Baal Bayis, or the Baal Bayis tripped over him. So there the halacha is that he's chayiv, he's responsible for the damages that he caused the Baal Bayis. However, if he was rovatz, which generally is translated as crouching, if he crouched, then he is pater, that is, the shar that was born in shaloi b'rishus is pater for all the damage that he caused. So the Gemara says, why does that make sense? Just because he crouched, why does it mean that there's a patur? So Rabbi answers, Rabbi doesn't mean that he crouches to lie down, which the Gemara assumed meant that he crushed kalim or caused the owner to trip over him. The Gemara says, Rabbi means that he squatted in order to release excrement, and that excrement stayed there and became a bar, and it caused a damage to the kalim of the Baal Bayis. It made them filthy. And the halacha is that a bar is not responsible for kalim, and therefore there's a patur of kalim bebar, and that's why you're pater for it. Rashi explains it would be chay for other things because this doesn't count as the animal making the bar, this counts as the person owning the animal making the bar. Now the Gemara asks that we know there's a machlokes between Rav and Shmuel whether anything besides a hole in the ground can be a bar. Can something else be a bar? So according to Shmuel, who says that any object can be a bar, so I understand this because it created a bar and it's potter on kelim. But according to Rav, that says you have to be mafker to be a bar. Here he's in his property. What are you going to say? So my answer is that it's hefker automatically. Excrement is not something people hold on to. It just automatically becomes hefker, although it belonged to the owner of the animal when it dropped, but he was mafker on the spot, and therefore it's considered to be a bar even according to Rav. Now, Rav's third halacha, again, someone brought a shar into someone else's chatzar without permission. So if it caused a damage to the Baal Bayis directly, or if the Baal Bayis tripped over him and hurt himself, so the owner of the shar is responsible. If, however, the Baal Bayis himself was mazik the shar, he's responsible for that because he had no permission to be there. And Rav Papa says on that is only if he didn't see him and was mazik him on purpose. If he heard him, let's say by accident. However, if he saw him and he purposely hit the guy and he caused an injury to the shar, then he does have to pay for it. Why? Because the owner of the shar could say to the owner of the chutzner, you have a right to throw me out. Yeah, I'm here without permission, but you don't have a right to hurt me. You don't have a right to hurt my shar. And therefore you're responsible for that. Now, the Gemara says that you find Rava or Rav Papa, whichever one is the author of the following thing, saying the same halacha or implying the same halacha in another thing that he said. The Gemara quotes that. There you have the following halacha that is said. Again, we don't know if it's Rava or Rav Papa. The halacha there is if two people are in a property with permission, or they're both in a property without permission, like for example, someone else's rishus, or if they're in rishus harabim, so if they're behaving normally, so they're both with permission. If they're both running, then it's without permission. So if they cause a damage to each other, so they're chayiv. They have equal level of rishus to be there. They're chayiv for the damage close to each other. If they trip over each other, they are potter. However, the implication here is this is only because they're both here with permission or they're both here without permission. But if one of them has more permission than the other, then you would be chayiv for a hezek that happens by accident. That is, the one who has permission to be there is in the rights, and the other one who doesn't have permission is responsible for it. Now, the implication is that they're only on unequal footing because of an accident, because what happened here was an accident. If, however, it was on purpose, so one was purposely mazik the other one, then even if one was rishus, one was shalei rishus, the implication is they would be chayiv, whoever is the mazik is chayiv on the other one. And that is what fits, and that's very much like the halacha which we just learned. The Gemara now moves on to the next part of the Mishnah, and again, a halacha of Rava on that. So the next part is that if an ox goes in someone else's property without permission and falls into the well and causes a hezek, he damages the water in the well. So he's chayiv for that. So the Gemara quotes Rava, who says that that's only if he caused the damage to the water in the well at the time that he fell in. He fell in and directly it caused it. He made it smell. He made it disgusting. If, however, he fell in, and then after a while it caused damage, then he's potter. And the reason is because the shar now counts as the bar, because he's there. He's not doing anything. He's just lying there. So he's a bar. And the water is like a kli, because the water is becoming destroyed by being on in the presence of the shar. So the halacha, of course, is that a bar is potter in kalim, and therefore the shar causing damage to the water is potter. That's Rava's halacha. So the Gemara asks that this only fits according to Shmuel, who says that your property could be a bar. According to Rav, it says that if it belongs to you, it's not a bar, it's a shar mazik, and therefore you wouldn't have a ptor of a kalim. How does Rava's halacha make sense? The shar can't be a bar, and don't tell me he's mafkaret. So the Gemara answers, so we have to adjust then what Rava said slightly. It's not about whether it was at the time that he fell in or the time that or later, but something very similar. It's what caused the water to become disgusting. Is it the dirt that was on the shar, that was direct action of the shar? Then it's a mazik of shar, and you would be chayav for that. If, however, it was that the ox became an avela, he died and became a carcass, and then rotted, and then caused smell, and that's what ruined the water, then it'd be potter, because it's not the ox directly causing the damage to the water, it's grama. He did something, and that caused indirectly for damage to the water to happen, and for that, you wouldn't be chayiv. The Gemara now moves on to analyze the next phrase in the Mishnah. The Mishnah said that if the shar who was in someone else's chutzner without permission fell into the bar, and inside the bar was the father or the son of the owner of the chutzner, and he killed him. So he has to pay kaifer like any shor who kills a person. Someone asks, why does he have to pay kaifer? He's a tam. This is unlikely that it happened 4 times. So he's a tam, and the halacha is that a tam doesn't pay kaifer. That's a question the Gemara asks. The Gemara gives 3 answers. The Gemara's first answer is Rav, who says that he's not a tam, he's a muad. It's something, even though it's unlikely, it happened 4 times. On that, the Gemara comes back and says, if he's a muad, how is he still alive? The halacha is that a shar who kills a person, not only does he only have to pay kaifer, but the shar gets skila, whether it's the first time or not. So this shar, if it happened already 3 times, should have been given skila. So that the Gemara answers, Rav Yosef says that he wasn't mechavin to kill. He saw food on the edge of the barn. He was trying to eat it, and he fell in by accident. Now, Rashi explains this as it's a tolda of Shein. However, he still needed to happen 3 times, because otherwise it would be Meshuna. By happening 3 times, it's no longer Meshuna, and you can't say that it's Chatzin Nezek or has any halachas of Tam. However, it is a tolda of Shein, and therefore there's no skila. That's the point that Rav Yosef is making here. Now, that's the Gemara's first approach to what happened here. The Gemara answers, Shmuel has a second shot that this is Rabbi Yosef's opinion, who holds that a tam does pay kaifer. You pay half kaifer, but here it only happened once, and it's a tam, and he's paying half kaifer because that's what Rabbi Yosef holds. Ula says this is Rabbi Yosef Haglili, but a different Rabbi Yosef Haglili. So Rabbi Yosef Haglili holds like Rabbi Tarfon and says that Karen in the Chatzar HaNizik pays Nazik Shalem. In that situation, you pay kaifer Shalem as well. So those are the 3 answers. And the Gemara asks, according to Ula, I understand why it says your father or your son, that is the father or the son of the Baal Chatzar, was in the well, because you're trying to establish that it was Chatzar HaNizik, that it was his own property, it was his own situation. But according to Shmuel, who learns that it's the opinion of Yosef Glili, who holds that Yechayev kaifer even for a tam, why does it have to be the father or the son? So the answer is it doesn't. It's just a normal situation in someone's chatzar. Who's going to be in the bottom of his well? It would obviously be his relatives. The Gemara then moves on to the last line in the Mishnah, where we saw machlokes between the Bava Kamma and Rebbe. When someone gives permission for someone to bring his shar into his rishos, is he accepting responsibility to watch, protect, and guard anything that happens to that shar? So is he responsible for the shor since he gave him permission? Is it automatic? That's what the Bava Kamma holds. It is automatic. If you gave rishos, you're responsible for it. The Rebbe holds, however, no. Just because I gave rishos doesn't mean I'm accepting responsibility unless I explicitly told you that I'm accepting responsibility. Now, the Gemara says, what's the halacha? So it's Mechekes Rav and Shmuel. Rav says the halacha is like the Bava Kamma, that there is an automatic assumption of responsibility of the Baal Chatzar. Shmuel says the halacha is like Rebbe, that there is no such assumption. The Gemara quotes a brisa. There's going to be a kasha either way. So the brisa says, if somebody says, if the Baal Chatzar says, bring your shar into my property and you guard him, and you're responsible for him, then the halacha is that the Baal shar is responsible. If he causes a damage, he has to pay, and if he gets damage, he doesn't get to collect. Second case in the brisa is, though, if he says, bring your shar into my property and I will guard him, then the owner of the chatzar is responsible. So if a damage happens, he doesn't get paid, but if he causes damage to the shar, then he has to pay. So the Gemara says there's a contradiction between the 2 cases themselves as to what is the implication if he says nothing at all. At first, you're telling me that if he said you're responsible for it, then the responsibility is on the Baal HaShar. That implies if he said nothing, then the responsibility is on the Baal HaChatzar. But then it says if he says I'm responsible for it, the responsibility is on him. That implies if he says nothing, the responsibility is on the Baal HaShar. So it's a stira. Which one do we hold like? Do we hold the Reisha implies like the opinion of the Rabbanan, and the Seif implies like the opinion of Rebbe? So the Gemara gives 4 different approaches to this. Rabbi Elazar says you're right, it's a contradiction, and therefore it's written by different Tanaim. One is holding like Rebbe, one is holding like the Rabbanan. Now Rava says no, it all fits in the Rabbanan. That's why the Reisha says it's only if he explicitly says you watch it that the Baal HaChatzar is that the Baal HaShar is responsible for it. Otherwise, the Baal HaShar would be responsible for it because there's a presumed assumption of responsibility if he gives permission. The Sefer where it says where he tells him, and I'll watch it, that's just Agav that we said in the Reisha. You watch it. So the Sefer we said I'll watch it. But really the same would be true if he didn't say I'll watch it at all. Now, answers Rav Papa, no, actually it's all Rebbe. And therefore at the end we understand there is no automatic assumption of responsibility. And the only way that the Baal HaChatzar is responsible is if he says, I'm going to watch it. Now, in the Reisha, he has to tell him, you're responsible, not because otherwise the Baal HaShar wouldn't be responsible, because otherwise the Baal HaShar wouldn't have to pay Nezek Shalim. Now, we're in the opinion of Rabbi Tarfon, who says that if it's Chatzar HaNezek, you pay Nezek Shalim, if it's Chatzar of Shutfin, you pay Chatzar Nezek. So by saying to him, you watch it, you're responsible to watch it, in the Reisha, what's happening is, he's not giving him as if permission to bring it in there and to be responsible. He's not giving him control. He's not making Chatzar Shutfin. It's still Chatzar HaNezek, and therefore you pay Nezek Shalim. If he would not have told him, and you watch it, he's giving him permission to be there. He's giving him, as it were, a partnership in it. Then it's only Chatzar Shutfin, and you would only pay Chatzar Nezek.